Hello everyone, hope you all are doing well. So I'm home today and I've just been doing a lot of introspect, especially with all the things that are going on in the internet world. And that's the thing I want to talk about. There is such a big difference between what people are really going on in the real world compared to online. It's just so weird when you really sit and think about it. Like in real life, life is going on. Everyday decisions having to be made. Where are we getting money to eat? How are we going to pay our electric? How are we going to make sure we have our mortgage paid, our rent paid, our hotel for the night paid, our camping spot paid? Are we going to get kicked out of Walmart tonight? And so many other things, right? But I think when it spills over the internet into the real world, that's when it's actually really dangerous, And that's the sad thing. That's what we're witnessing is, people were supposed to use the internet for like information, learning things. They have questions or they already know how to do something. They just want another perspective, It was supposed to be much more simpler and of course, because it is what it is, it was never going to be that way because people ultimately take platforms and the things that other people say and they use it against them to a point where, bad things happen. And it's just really sad. I didn't really watch Charlie Kirk, that much. I watched a few of his stuff, but I didn't have any problem with what he was saying. He always came across so nice and gentle and like he wanted to be understood. He wanted to understand them also. But he also stood firm in his faith, which there's nothing wrong with that. Faith is all you have in these times. So, however that looks like, his way, my way, your faith is your faith. And, it amazes me. It just does. It's like, you can tell we have so many NPCs. And NPCs are people who don't have an inner monologue. I'm totally convinced on that now. They say like only 28% of the population has an inner monologue. Wow. That means these people don't have the ability to process things in their mind. They don't see things. They don't have memories. They don't remember learning. They don't talk to themselves. They don't have introspect. They're NPCs. They're the ones that are just ripe for the picking. Those are the ones that are getting taken over by every narrative, everything that you see going on. These entities, these spirits, these ideas, all of it is just what you're seeing coming out of people is the grossness of the God that they're praying to, and they don't even realize it. Because Creator has no ego. Creator has none of that. That is not of Creator, okay? So what you're seeing is a reflection of their God, what they are, their spirit coming out of them. And you can't lump a whole group together, but you can lump a lot of them together at the same time. And it's in all walks of life going on. But it's very evident that we have a problem. The problem is these people, you can't expect them to feel for his family because they don't feel anything already. They're NPCs. There's non-player characters. They got all their life lessons, their perspective. Everything's coming from an internet, an artificial intelligence. So what do you think that's going to create? Artificial people who have no connection to the soul, to the spirit, to love, to reason, to compassion, to love. Everything they do is twisted because it's coming from a demon, ultimately. And they're soulless, essentially. And soulless to the sense that they have no clue to what love is, or compassion, or forgiveness, or humility. They don't have a clue to any of what I'm talking about. They only know the ego side, which is how it affects them, and the way people are twisting things around on all sides. I'm not talking about just one set of people. This can go for everyone, and it's gross. And what you're seeing is an entity. You truly are, because good people know that you don't do these things to anybody suffering right now. You don't make a mockery of it. You don't talk about it in the way it's being talked about. You let that soul go where it's supposed to go. You let it go. You let the family grieve. You shut your dumb mouth for 5 seconds. But these people don't. If they had even an inkling of a soul, it's been shown. And we have a lot of NPCs. If you don't have an inner monologue, see, before you do something really, really bad, your mind will start telling you, okay, this is a consequence. I shouldn't do this because it'll hurt this person, it'll hurt that person, or, whatever. There's this inner monologue that goes on before you do something bad. Okay? And they don't have it. And they're dangerous. Real dangerous. Because they're unhinged demons. Okay? Who created by demons. So I see it. Because if you have family and people who did not knock your butt into shape or go get you help or get you locked up, you're all guilty. You're all complicit. That's how it goes, see? That's why they're your family and you're not my family. I don't want this. This is crazy. So it's just really strange, like the internet spilling over into real life. It's not cool. And Charlie Clerk was from Arizona. Sorry if I keep saying his last name wrong. I'm not trying to. I'm just really bad with names. Charlie Clark. Sorry, Charlie. My grandfather's name was Charlie. But it's just really sad. It's just sad how we've taken death and being human and perspectives, and that there's only 28% of the population that has inner monologue. Because this demon has just literally slowly been taking over everything. And, let's just face it. Something can't take over you without you allowing it. And there's people that are responsible. But this is the world we live in. So I hope your life off of the internet is a better reflection of who you are and what you're trying to do in this life to get connected back with your soul and, experience happiness and all the things that your soul really wants. And I hope you're doing that outside of the internet, because, oh my gosh, I'm glad I woke up at that campground. Even though we have Starlink up there, still, it's just so nice. The bears are up there. They're tearing everything up. They're rotten. And, and there's all these cows that graze all over up in those mountains, and no one's there. And we happen to run into the farmer guy or the cattle guy who owns them. And that was cool. We introduced ourselves. He was an old guy with one of those pointy mustaches that curls up in the air. Wore a cowboy hat. It was cool. I told him I loved his cows. Because we have to be careful going down the mountain because they graze all over. So you don't, you know what I mean? People usually use ATVs, but trucks go up there too. And anyhow, it's just, they're so cute. They're so neat. And, they're just living a good life, up at 8,000 feet and above. And just, they have no limits to where they can go. And the bears mind their business. The cows mind theirs. We have turkeys out there. So much stuff. So, anyhow, it's so much better up there. I love it up there. We're looking for actually property up in that area, around this area, just farther away, even more farther away, because, you know, even where I live now, it's just pretty quiet, not a lot of people, you know, not a lot going on. But even here is too much for me. Like, I just feel this really big separation going on. I just want to be happy, work hard, keep healing my body, keep maintaining my weight, building muscle, you know, figuring out my stomach stuff, which I have. Cinnamon. There you go. You know, cinnamon did it for me. It worked. And just keep dealing with, you know, what I have to deal with. But just remember, there's a life outside. I know things are happening. I'm not saying that they're saying that things on the internet aren't happening in real life. But real life could be much more peaceful if you allow it. Just whatever you're seeing online, let it go when you put your phone away, because, my gosh, this whole thing with this man being killed is just, it's really sad and sick, and can't believe it was on the internet and people saw it live. And, you know, this guy has a transgender girlfriend, and oh, it's just all really twisted and sick, and had nothing to do with Charlie or his family or his kids. You know what I mean? It just didn't. He had an opinion, and they couldn't take it, and they're being indoctrinated, and I think it needs to be dealt with. And, you know, put people on an island. I don't know. You know, just get them out of society completely in the most humane way you can. I mean, just give them an opportunity to just have their own community, put a fence around it, and just call them good, you know, drop them food and supplies, and let them deal with life and learn how to grow their own food. And I think if we could just separate from people like this, eventually we're their main audience, because they can't really affect each other, because they're all like the same NPCs, you know, all the same talking points, all the same everything, you know what I mean? They need us to feel something. So I just think they're trying to kind of suck off of everybody else's energy, basically. You know, just a bunch of narcissists, really narcissistic, and they're being brought up by narcissistic parents if they're allowing them to become like this without any reality checks. You know what I mean? I mean, jeez. What the heck? Parents are weird now. Anyhow, yeah, I'm old. I'm 54. But still, there's just, it's, you know, it's the time we live in. Anyhow, I just thought I'd come on here, do a little chatting. Haven't been online for a while. Much love to you guys. Hope you're all doing well. Leave me a comment. Say hi. Bye.